Hello, everyone. Today we have with us Shivani. She is a senior data scientist in Bangalore. So, today we'll have a conversation with her on data science, her journey, and what guidance or tips she has around data science. So, hi, Shivani. Can you share a brief background about yourself?
First of all, thank you so much, Bhargavi, for setting this up for me. I'm Shivani. Yeah, I'm from Bhavnagar, Gujarat, and currently I'm staying in Bangalore from past 4 years now. I have done my information technology degree from Gujarat Technological University, and then I have done few data science certification courses and built some projects on that. And then now I have around more than 3 years of experience as a senior data scientist.
Since your career started from Gujarat, you did your bachelor's from Gujarat Technological University. How did you move to Bangalore? That's my first question because that's naturally what hits me. So, was it because of a job or maybe you transitioned to some roles?
After finishing my graduation, like it's every student's worry, the biggest worry, what I do the next in the in my career, what branch should I choose? Or yeah, some people might don't know that which field you are interested in, but some people are like really clear they what they want to do from their degree itself. It's good
Right.
both the way. If you are clear that yeah, you want to do this, it's really good. Also, you want to explore a lot of options, then it's like definitely really good as well. So in my case, I was like very clear I wanted to become a data scientist from my graduation. And then just after finishing, I was looking for some roles in Gujarat itself, but I felt that it's like little bit hard and high competition over there. And if you don't mind, the pay scale is like not that great,
Right.
I say.
Right.
And specifically, I'm talking about my city, Bhavnagar. There is like not in IT sector.
Right.
It's not that much grown yet. There are some
Right.
companies, and talking about big cities like Ahmedabad and all, there are also like mostly you'll see not data science but business analyst and roles like that. Not proper data science roles.
Right.
So I was doing research over there, like what in India, where should I go? Where are the high demand of data science and all? And of course, the answer is Bangalore because it's like the tech city, or we
Tech
can
hub
say
of India.
Silicon Valley of the India. Yeah, definitely. And some people also like they asked me, "What do you do?" I was saying like, "Okay, I've done my IT and I want to do some IT jobs and all." They all of them used to say me like, "Go to Bangalore, go to Bangalore." Earlier, I just like ignored the idea, but then it's like somehow in my mind it hit me like, okay, let's
Right.
see what are the scopes and all. Parallelly, I was doing some data science courses and everything.
Right.
So yeah, it was like a match that okay, yeah. If I want to become a data scientist, then there are like a lot of YouTube videos and self-learning courses and all, but there is
Yes.
nobody to give you a proper direction, or if you want to one-to-one connection and you want to solve any problem, or if you have doubts,
Right.
it's like very rare. Otherwise, you do online courses or self-paced courses. So
Right.
yeah, I was also finding some good certification providers or courses providers on data science. So definitely I've done my degree, so I was not looking forward to do a degree in data science, definitely. So I was looking for some data science courses, and I found pretty good number of institutes which provides certification courses in data science in Bangalore. The answer was like how I decided to go to Bangalore. So yeah, that was the part that okay, I find one good institute over here in data, like in Bangalore, for doing the course, and I decided okay, I'll do the offline thing. I don't want to learn
Right.
online. It again again depends on people. Like okay, whatever they want to do.
Right.
I personally wanted to do offline, so yeah, I just moved to Bangalore.
Definitely. So
Thank you.
right now for aspirant or a student, so a lot of people want to get into data science, right? So
Hmm.
can you share your journey of how you learned data science and how your journey was while you were studying about data science?
I start from my college years. In
Yeah.
itself, I was like I already mentioned that I was clear I wanted to become data scientist. That story is different, definitely. Like why I wanted to become, that is
Right.
separate. But yeah, so I was clear, and then from that time I was paying more attention on the subjects which were related to data science. I found out that okay, Python is the most used language in data science, in the field of data science. So and definitely in my degree it was like subjects, and also I used to pay attention very like very good attention into subjects like ML and AI and Python and all. So yeah, that was the thing. And then start parallel to that, I started some first thing first, you need to learn programming language. if you want to become
Right.
data scientist. So I at that time also I started Python courses, some online courses along with my academics. But why?
Right.
Because in academics the Python was subject, but it teaches overall like OOPS concepts and all. And there is also a data science part, like there are some specific libraries, NumPy, Pandas, TensorFlow and all. So there's like separate Python, and not separate, but like there is whole new use case of
Right.
Python that
Right.
specifically for data science. So yeah,
Yes.
for that kind of courses, you get Python for data science. A lot of Udemy and courses are available. And then once I've done that, then the next thing was the actual data science, the machine learning, deep learning algorithms and all. You have to learn that. So you need to learn ML and ML algorithms, data science concepts, data extracting, cleaning. There are a lot of steps. And then there are deep learning algorithms and all. So it's like a vast area. You have to, at least you need to have common understanding of all of that. But if you want to there are things you can okay, I don't want to focus on this, but particularly I want to become ML engineer. Then it's like sub part of a data science. Okay, yeah, you become ML engineer, you only focus on ML algorithms. So there are like a lot of job profiles as well. But yeah, there is of course data science. You need to have knowledge in all of them: deep learning, ML, and data cleaning and stuff like that. So yeah, to learn that, you can do online courses as well again. But I tried. I did online courses, but it's not that much. You understand the theory and all, but when it comes to apply it on the real world, you have to have entire data science life cycle understanding. And yeah, you need to apply that as well on real life projects.
For a person who wants to get into data science, so what do you suggest? That should they go for self-learning, be it through maybe a YouTube playlist or an online course, something like that, or to join a proper, offline institution that helps you learn data science in a structured way, in a full-time way? And if you have any suggestions on some platforms that you have experienced, that you have learned data science from, or maybe if you could suggest any free platforms where students can start learning data science.
So I was talking about our time when, like in 2020, where these AI tools were not there, like ChatGPT and all. So yeah, I did online courses on Udemy and all, like machine learning and deep learning courses. But it was the issue was, it was all scattered. Like it's not just a thing that okay, ML and DL you learn. No, you have to learn EDA. You have to learn how to handle different kind of data. On what data you will apply which machine learning models, which is suitable for what. For that, everything you will not find on any courses on like online, or if you are taking self-paced learning courses like Udemy and all. Of course, if you are doing any 1 or 2 years degree or diploma course, they will cover everything. But yeah, again, you want to keep it like short, 6 months, and you want to learn everything, I'll suggest that you go for 6 months of certification course rather than self learning. Like you go and find different courses, and then you try to combine everything. It's not like that. You otherwise you find one really good platform where there are step by step. Okay, first you learn this, then you learn that. So if like now it is possible because you have a lot of Gen AI platforms. You just ask like teach me this algorithm to somebody who is 5 year old. You will get it like very easily. Yeah,
Definitely.
so, and also like a lot now social media and everything is like booming, like LinkedIn. So there are definitely two ways. It depends upon you. But personally, what I feel is like, okay, no, I want somebody, some mentors to help me out, who can advise me. I wanted some in person, like one-to-one connections, and in my field. So if you are in your hometown or area, you will like in person, you'll not find a lot of people in your data science team.
Right.
But here you will find a lot of people coming from different backgrounds and all. It will open a lot of opportunity to you, and a lot of knowledge sharing. Even apart from studying time, you spend time with your colleagues and all, you will learn a lot. So
Definitely.
that is like that is again a perk of doing this on offline. And yeah, there are of course there are a lot of platforms where you can learn free data science courses. There are some YouTube channels as well. Like I'll say platforms. There are edX and Udemy and Coursera. You can learn some really good data science courses. And I'll suggest the best one is the deeplearning.ai.
Yes.
So there is a courses of Andrew Ng. It's like very short and very convenient, and you will get all the latest updates of the technologies over there. Now there is agentic AI and whatnot, AGI courses like
Right.
that, whatever. Yeah, so you can learn that, but as a like it's again you need to do, you have to keep yourself up to date when you are in the field. But as a
Definitely.
student or learner, you first focus on the core data science part, as well as you also, I'll say, put a habit or learn using best way to use Gen AI platform like that. It's like really good plus one for now that we
Yeah.
really
Right.
can get it.
Definitely, definitely. So, two very important things you mentioned here is that once you're into the field, we need to keep ourselves updated with what changes are coming and what is the future of the field. So, you mentioned two things. One is agentic AI, AI agents, and generative AI. So, what do you have to say about AI agents in specific? So, if there's a person in data science, how can they keep themselves updated about what changes are coming?
First of all, what is agentic AI? Consider as a worker for you. That is one agent. It's like now there is a lot of tools like Manas and all that will work for you, that will search for you in the browser. So what basically they are structured, they have the mind is the LLM, basically whatever it is
Right.
behind the ChatGPT. And then it has a capability to connect with your browser and take some your data. And there are now there are two things in the trend again. I'm sorry for making you like confusing, but yeah, that
Definitely.
there is like MCP, and it's like getting advanced and very advanced. There is like MCP, like model context protocol, and there is A2A, agent to agent. So it's like
Right.
yeah, it's like very advanced thing. There is no need to and there is no need for human interaction. There's like you want to book a ticket, you give some instruction, okay, I want to book this ticket, and it will be like book automatically for you.
Yeah.
So
Right.
yeah, so in this space, like how do you save yourself, or how do you get in the flow and you get used to it? It definitely for now it's like not that much used as of now. It's still new, very new.
Right.
But yeah, slowly industries are adapting it. They are like definitely replacing the people and automating a lot of working process and all. So it's going on, but you use you find the use cases how to use agentic AI. You keep yourself
Right.
up to date like that. Then there is things that human can do, and also there is agentic AI that can do the same thing. But what is
Definitely.
your thing is like you find the the use cases, or you find how to set up the AGI. So company now, what companies need is like to set up the things they want to keep it running smoothly. So
Right.
yeah, you can learn that. But yeah, again, that there is like in India particularly, I'm speaking, there are a lot of startups companies where are like literally still they are not adapting very fast. When again it generates a lot of opportunities, new use cases. There are like a lot of updation we can do in the current data science market,
Definitely.
uh, like all the process you think where we are using ML or deep learning model. Now we have a lot of capable LLMs, so you can think about use cases where we use this deep learning model, and now if you replace with these LLMs, then it will like huge difference and really good new use cases you will find. So that is the
Definitely.
one thing. Yeah.
Definitely, it is very important to find the new use cases and whatever new developments are coming. If I want to get into data science, how can I build my portfolio? For freshers from tier 2 or tier 3 colleges, they have this fear that, how will they be placed or how will they get their, first experience. So,
Mhm.
what tips or suggestions do you have for people or students in tier 2 and tier 3 colleges looking forward to get into data science field?
You need to build end-to-end data science projects by yourself, or by a
Right.
lot of resources. You use that, you find a use case and build the projects, and you have to showcase your work somewhere.
Hmm.
Like on GitHub, you upload your repositories. On LinkedIn, you stay connected with people and follow data scientists or anything, and you know get what the people are doing right now. So you also keep yourself updated in that area. And yeah, you attend a lot of events. There are events happening in the, definitely in the city like Bangalore. There are a lot of technical events are happening. You go there, make connections, and learn from there. You can also add that in your resume, in your portfolio. That yeah, and you definitely will also learn. There are hands-on experience, like they'll provide you hands-on experience as well in this kind of. There is like companies like Google and Microsoft. Like maybe weekly, they're like scheduling this kind of workshops. So you learn that
Right.
also. So you showcase that, and apart from that, yeah. When you are talking about the portfolio, yeah, you showcase your work. That's the key. How much you know, and definitely, like in interview, they'll ask the theoretical question and everything. But to get there, also you showcase your portfolio and your work
Definitely.
that you've done, and also like yeah, definitely participate in hackathons and put
Right.
your code on Kaggle. Solve some real world problems and showcase your work. That it's a two-way. You will show as well. You will learn a lot, like in real when you do the real project. So yeah, it's not like okay, real world project is like too huge. How will I do, and how it will be real, like even possible, or is it even
Right.
real world? It's not like that. There are small data sets. You play with that. You showcase your work, like just do end to end. Okay, from here you have collected the data, and then you cleaned it, how you cleaned it, and then okay, you tried different models, and this was the best for my data set. This was giving the best accuracy, but I don't want really good yeah, definitely I want good accuracy, but I also want to
Right.
have my precision very high. So I fine tuned, or maybe sorry for that, but I trained my model, or hyperparameter tuning I have done on that, and then I found the best way to get the result is what I wanted. And yeah, these projects, how it will be used, just give a small example. For example, what I did, I built one CO2 emission forecasting, just like take a
Hmm.
sample data and do. But you can say yeah, definitely
Right.
it's just like CO2 emission is like a real thing now. Companies have to showcase how CO2 emissions they are producing, and right now
Right.
it's like this to train these big models, companies it's like it needs a lot of energy right now.
Right.
And
Right.
again, it is genetic emissions, but I see a lot of companies like OpenAI and all, they what they do, they use green energy and solar power
Hmm.
and all to train their
Right.
models and all. So yeah, definitely we are using it very vastly, the GenAI, but again it should not impact on our
Definitely.
mother earth.
So, what I get from here is that one is that a person should focus on building end-to-end projects, and second thing you mentioned is networking and showcasing. So, be it uploading on GitHub and getting connections in your particular field on LinkedIn. So, what practical skills do you use every day in your current role? So that learners can get that what exactly they need to focus on, that will be actually used when they go out in the corporate or go for their first job.
That's a really good question. But to answer
Right.
that, I start from different roles again. So, like when you are landing on a particular job, they're like in data science as well. There will be like different companies will require different skills. For example, for data science role itself, some companies need some cloud-based knowledge, but otherwise, on the other hand, some companies do not require that. They just need to do.
Right.
You have to knowledge of machine learning and deep learning algorithms just to train the model. But yeah, um, that is one thing. And it will, I'll say, depend on company, different companies. But
Right.
yeah, the core skills, I'll say, you learn machine learning, deep learning, and you learn at least basic of SQLs and all.
Right.
Yeah, it will be really helpful. And yeah, you learn the deployment. How to deploy machine learning models into production, or
Mm.
into staging a stage and something like that. So
Right.
that's like a really really important point, like that you learn how to deploy machine learning models. That will be
Right.
really helpful in hunting your jobs. So
Definitely.
again, I'll summarize. You learn a little bit of cloud technologies. Just if you don't do on hands-on, you just have some understanding. Okay, what is deployment? How it works in the production? How do you put your model in production? What are the
Right.
things you have to take care when your model is in production? You have to check. Okay, in some scenarios, it is not biased, or it is not generating any wrong outputs. You have to
Right.
make sure to go by a lot of testing and all. So you
Hmm.
you should keep the knowledge a little bit at yeah. It's like not just you train the model, but you have to see how it is performing as well.
In data science, like a lot of people get confused between three things. That is, one is a data analyst, data scientist, and data engineer. So a lot of people get confused around these roles. So if you can highlight what are the key differences between these three roles that are around data.
So I'll start very simple. What is data analyst, or what is data analysis or data analysis roles? That you have a data, you analyze that, you find some patterns, you use tools like Python or maybe Power BI or Tableau. You should know a SQL, right? And
Right.
how to work with data, so, and a data analyst, what they do, they gather the requirements from the stakeholders. Like, okay, this is our data. We want to find this and these things from this
Right.
data. Data analyst take that data and do the analysis, find some patterns, build the graphs, okay, and see how are the trends, how are the sales, like also
Right.
some forecasting or yeah. So finding different patterns in data and displaying or giving the presentation or building dashboards, like, and then explaining why and what all the checklists they have asked, you do that.
Right.
And that was data analyst. Now I'll go to data science. So yeah, the core of data science is again to build the models. You take the data from maybe data engineers or data analysts, like clean data, and then you play with models, you train them, and you understand that, okay, yeah, this is the data, and this is what will be the outcome of this if I
Right.
train the model. So you
Right.
understand the requirements again, what are the inputs and what is the output expected from your model. You
Right.
train
Right.
different data, and you also consider that hosting cost and everything, you consider that as well. And then yeah, so I think that is the core thing. Like, you train models and machine learning and deep learning models. It's like core data science part. And coming to the data engineering, it's like how your data flows in your entire infrastructure, right? Like, okay, from user the data is coming. For example, image data is coming, so now next you are getting the image from the user, where the image will go, how it will be processed. You consider like that, okay. And in between there is some data science model, okay. So data engineer will define the data pipeline, and definitely their core skills will be cloud computing and things like, yeah. So they handle live data and and take care of entire data pipeline, that how their data will flow in your application in the background. I'll say in the back end, from front end to back end to data pipeline, everything. And yeah, apart from that, there are like huge big data as well, like live big videos are getting generated. It's like very challenging to handle that kind of data. Like, for example, CCTV cameras, it's like generating continuously long videos and all. So yeah, there are technologies like big data and like Hadoop. You learn Apache Spark, yeah, and languages like Scala. So yeah, and also data warehousing, you learn as a data engineer. So you store like a huge amount of data in the data warehouse. There's like platform like Databricks and Snowflake. So I think I was clear that what were the differences in between these three job profiles.
So, like for a fresher point of view, the most important thing while freshers are applying for maybe internships or jobs is their resume. So, do you have any tips on optimizing your resume, or maybe how to make your data science resume stand out?
Again, I'll come from the first point, at how many pages of your resume, right?
Definitely.
Yeah, there are some people who think, okay, no, make 2 pages or more than that. And I was somebody who wanted to keep it very precise in 1 page. So yeah, you can choose anything, it's fine. But yeah, you see the structure of your first impression is like, if the human is scanning your resumes, then it's like first is the structure. Like it should be like really clean. The spacing, you see your contact information should be very clear and in the front. And then you write the precise summary, or like what you do and what you have done as a fresher. Like, yeah, I have done some like a certification course, and I'm willing to work on some really challenging profiles, things like that. These are my core skills: Python, deep learning. Like, you should again see what the job requirement is, and see, okay, these are the skills they are looking for. And if it is like opposite in your resume, they are asking, okay, cloud skills we want, at least basic they should know, and you are not putting cloud at all in your resume, then definitely it's not gonna work.
Right.
So yeah, otherwise find some. So there are core skills like ML and deep learning algorithms and things like that. So you keep it in your resume. Yeah, definitely. Also, I like reviewed a lot of people's resume as well. Some common mistakes is like not highlighting your projects very well. Like on the top, you highlight your projects on the top. Like you put your otherwise divide it into two, or you do like anyway, but highlight your projects and your top like skills. And
Right.
yeah, definitely, if you're not good at all in particular skill, then but you know a little bit about that, put it in the end. And
Right.
definitely you are really good at, put them in the top and highlight that. You should be definitely need to be a good communicator, and like I'm talking about the soft skills.
Right.
You should be a really good communicator when
Right.
it comes to data science, because you have to collaborate with software engineers, and then and data engineers, and you have to collaborate with them. You have to collaborate with the stakeholders, that okay, what are the requirements from data science thing. So you have to be very clear.
Yeah. So, is there any other tip that you would like to give to the freshers?
Yeah, definitely. Just like build a really strong LinkedIn profile. I mean, almost all the recruiters will go and look at your profile. And in the starting as itself, when you're providing your contact information, put your LinkedIn profile, put your GitHub profile. If you have built a like separate portfolio, like some website kind of thing, you add that over there. You put the links, make it clickable. People can easily go and see your things.
Any tips on networking? How should students start networking and growing connections in the industry?
Yeah, definitely. First thing is LinkedIn. Definitely. Yeah, message. You connect with some already professional in your field. Yeah, maybe some seniors as well. What I see is, I'm not like judging anybody, but yeah, again, what I see are most the senior persons are willing to help you, or willing to beginners learn. It's like just the thing that you have to ask. You have to ask for the help. You have to ask for the advice. You have to go and find.
Right.
I'm sure, like out of 110 people will respond you, but at least you have to ask 100 people. I'm not even saying 100, but at least ask 10. Out of that, one will help you. You do that. You stay connected with them. You have communications, like send them a message. Hey, you are doing really great work. I'm really interested in your portfolio, and I have these things. You are in Bangalore, but I'm in my hometown. Should I go to Bangalore or not? What do you think? You take opinion from people, and that way you build a connections.
Right.
Your networking, and yeah, definitely your good friends are always there. Your buddies, your
Yes.
definitely stay touch with your professors as well. It's like a student and professor connection. It's like really great. You should have at least one really good connection with your professors. They're like great mentors as well. Yeah, and apart from that, if you are in city like Bangalore, or if you are in city like Bangalore, then there are a lot of workshops and events are going on.
Right.
And so technical as well, non-technical. So there'll be like communities, drum community, running community, skating community. You engage yourself in this kind of activities.
Right.
There are sites like Meetup. You will find a lot of upcoming workshops and meetings, like online as well. There are like a lot of online meetings and all as well. You go there and see what is happening. Also do networking.
Right.
But the best way to network is we are being present in the offline and meet people.
So one thing is that, of course, money is everyone's point of interest, right? So I would like to know from your first-hand experience, or maybe what you have observed in your surroundings being in Bangalore. So what do you think is the average, package or average salary range for a fresher in data science?
For fresher, I say minimum 4. to maximum it can go very high, maybe like 12 LP you can get easily if you are from second or third tier. If you're like top tier universities, definitely you are, you know, like you will definitely get really high or good packages. So
Right.
yeah, I'll say a very common and basic package is around 4 5. There are some companies like in my case it was between 6 to 8 LPA. Yeah,
Right.
so you will find the very
So
general scale is like 4 to 12.
definitely. Yeah, so a fresher can expect anywhere from 4 to 12 LPA depending on their skill sets and the college they come from.
Yeah.
So at the end, I would like to ask because you are living in Bangalore. So mostly these folks who want to look for data science or IT jobs, they would think about coming to Bangalore. So what do you think? Like how what are your reviews of the city and should more people look forward to coming to Bangalore? Yes.
Definitely you should come visit the city. It's like really beautiful and really good people. You will find a lot of really good connections you will find over here. Again,
Right.
lot of opportunities, full of opportunities, big MNCs and all. But along with Bangalore right now, there is like Pune and Hyderabad, Chennai and Gurugram. There's like top
Right.
tech booming cities right now. You can
Yeah.
also like explore those as well. Yeah, Bangalore is definitely there, but nowadays it's like little bit crowded over here because
Right.
yeah, because of a lot of opportunities I'll say. But yeah, it's scaling as well. Bangalore is like scaling itself. Like it, now the areas they are expanding in Yelahanka and near
Right.
airport and like
Right.
every in all the directions it is growing, and they are like they are building the twin city, so
Right.
companies can there.
Yes.
Yeah, and I've seen like a lot of people moving out from Bangalore as well. Like people go abroad from here mostly, and also like yeah, I have seen people moving to Pune and Hyderabad. Also, people coming from those cities here. It's like interchanging. You will get a lot of opportunities if you're
Right.
getting
Right.
the opportunity in the Pune. You can go there,
Right.
or if you like, in Bangalore earlier it was a food issue for
Right.
for the people who are moving out from their state because it's like
Right.
different culture and everything. But yeah, it's good. You once you are habituated, you will make yourself comfortable and you will go with the flow over here.
So at the end, would you have anything in general that you would like to share with the audience? Any small message?
You should have a one really good mentor in your life. You should keep one mentor
Right.
in your life for every situation, personal, professional, everything outside of your family. Maybe it could be inside your family, but please have at least one mentor in your life. Your life will be like a shift. They'll change your life if you're like really a right person in your life. So it could be your manager as well sometimes. But
Okay.
yeah, uh, keep your
Right.
one mentor, like have a really good relationship, and you can say anything to them and ask for advice. So
Amazing, amazing. I think this advice is very much needed right now.
like it was
And
such a pleasure hearing from you. But yeah, it's like really great people like you doing a lot of things outside their studies. I really appreciate them, and people who wants
I
to
really
learn and
appreciate it.
build.
And thank you so much for taking out 1 hour. Thank you so much for that.